If you're sweating through the summer of 2023, we can't help you, but we can help you understand why some areas are really hot while others are cool and wet this year. Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff, and this is Plain English, where you can upgrade your English by listening to stories about current events and trending topics. And those of you who want to make faster progress, don't worry, we've got you covered too. At plainenglish.com, we have lots of resources to help you make faster progress toward your goals. So if you haven't yet joined, go do that at plainenglish.com. One membership level is free, so there's no reason not to do it. plainenglish.com. Coming up today, are you trapped under a heat dome? Millions of people are, from Asia to North America to Europe. On today's lesson, you'll learn about why the heat waves in the Northern Hemisphere seem so intense this year. There's lots of new vocabulary in this one, so I know you'll learn a lot. In the second half of this audio lesson, I'll show you how to use the English phrasal verb cool off, and we have a quote of the week. Let's get started. If there's one word that describes summer 2023 so far, it's heat. Europe, the US, and Asia have all suffered from extreme heat for extended periods. Globally, June 2023 was the hottest month on record. Cities as varied as Tokyo in Japan, Rome in Italy, and Phoenix in the US have all experienced temperature-related records. Scientists believe this is caused by a specific jet stream pattern. The jet stream is a band of fast-moving air in the atmosphere several kilometers above the Earth's surface. The jet stream is what drives much of the Northern Hemisphere's weather patterns. One meteorologist describes the jet stream as a conveyor belt delivering storms and weather around the world. But the jet stream is variable. It's not always in the same spot. It shifts and bends and changes shape. It goes up and down. That is partly why the weather in the Northern Hemisphere tends to be so varied. This June, the jet stream formed what scientists call a wave number 5 pattern. A wave number 5 pattern. That means it formed 5 large U-shaped curves in its loop around the globe. And those curves haven't been moving much. Picture the jet stream moving like a sine wave, forming 5 peaks and 5 valleys as it circles the globe. Now picture the area under the peak of this wave. That area is called a heat dome. Here's what happens. The area under the arc, the heat dome, is a high pressure area. The high atmospheric pressure traps heat and keeps clouds out. In normal weather patterns, high pressure systems produce clear skies and warm, sunny weather. Then the weather shifts and it cools off again. But when the jet stream is fixed in its waveform 5 position, the high pressure system sits over an area for a long time, and strange things start to happen. Warm air rises from the ground, but gets pushed back down again by the high pressure. The high atmospheric pressure compresses that air as it pushes it down. That squeezes more heat into a smaller area, causing the temperature to go up. So this becomes like a self-reinforcing system. Warm air rises, the high pressure compresses warm air into a smaller space, the air gets even hotter, the air moves up again because it's hot, and the cycle repeats. And because the jet stream is not moving, the areas under this heat dome don't get any relief. It just gets hotter and hotter. Even worse, the heat dries out the ground, making the area susceptible to wildfires, which can push temperatures even higher. But what about clouds and rain? In a normal weather pattern, the high pressure system would move on, a low pressure system would take over, clouds would enter the area, it would rain, and it would cool off. But the jet stream is not moving, and the high atmospheric pressure stays over the same area and keeps clouds out. If the clouds are kept out of the heat dome, where do they go? They go everywhere else. So many areas outside a heat dome get a lot of rain, even as areas under the heat dome are suffering from stifling heat and drought. For example, in the US, Texas, Oklahoma, Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado have experienced record-setting heat. Those areas are under the heat dome. JR reports that in Chicago, he's only had to use the air conditioning a few times this year. Chicago is outside the heat dome. But Chicago got heavy rains in early July. In some areas, 6 to 8 inches of rain fell in just 24 hours. All the rain that was meant for the heat dome poured down on Chicago and other areas outside the heat dome instead. It's the same in Asia. It's hot in Zhanjiang, China, but pouring rain in Beijing. How can this weather pattern end? The jet stream could keep its same form, but shift position. That would put different areas under the heat dome. But the heat domes won't go away until the jet stream breaks its wave-shaped pattern. Why is the jet stream doing this? It's not fully clear. Higher ocean temperatures make heat domes worse, and ocean temperatures have been rising. The jet stream is powered by the temperature difference between the Arctic air and the warmer air below it. The Arctic is warming faster than other parts of the globe. And that means that the difference in temperature between the Arctic and more moderate climates, that difference is narrowing. But it's not yet clear if this causes the jet stream to form its waveform pattern. Normally, Europeans flock to the beach. They go south for the summer. This year, they might want to go north. Oslo sounds good right about now. Spain, France, Italy, all vacation destinations on the Mediterranean, and they are, at least at the end of July, they were suffering from a really intense heat wave. If you have a vacation in the US or Europe or China or anywhere with a heat dome, don't overdo it. Plan a few hours midday to just relax inside. Do your activities early in the morning or in the evening. Heat like this is no joke. Or come visit me in Mexico City. No heat dome here at 2,200 meters above sea level. It's Monday, so I've got a quote of the week for you. Here it is. Well-timed silence hath more eloquence than speech. This is from Martin Tupper, an English poet and novelist. Hath is Old English, and it simply means has. So it goes like this. Well-timed silence has more eloquence than speech. I like this because if you listen to a good speaker, you'll notice they put silence in key moments. If you're listening to a speech and you hear silence, what do? You pay attention. You pay close attention to what comes next. So here again is the quote from Martin Tupper. Well-timed silence hath more eloquence than speech. Now it's time to learn the English expression cool off. Cool off refers to lowering the temperature, either of your body or of the atmosphere. It has to be your body or the atmosphere. If you take a warm soda and put it in the freezer, you can't use cool off. But if it's a hot day and you're feeling warm, you might want to jump in the pool to cool off. You do this because your body temperature is high. You're feeling warm. It's a hot day. You jump in the pool and you immediately feel better. You feel cooler. Your body temperature starts to fall. You feel better. You're cooling off. What else can you do to cool off in the summer? I was just in Las Vegas, and there are outdoor restaurants that spray a constant layer of mist over the tables, and that helps clients cool off in the summer heat. And the summer heat was intense at 10 o'clock at night. Even when it was dark out, you almost needed to cool off if you spent too much time outside. So the restaurants and bars had these misters. They would spray mist over the whole area to help us cool off. If you don't have air conditioning at home, which is probably the case for a lot of people experiencing extreme heat right now. Well, if you don't have AC at home, and if you find yourself in a heat wave, you might be going to a lot of matinee movies. In the hottest time of the day, you can go to a movie theater to cool off, or just walk around the mall. I know people who do that. If they don't have air conditioning at home and a heat wave hits, this is all about cooling your body temperature. Pets can cool off. Pets, dogs especially, they always find the spot in the house that's the coolest. There might only be a triangle of shade in a room, but that's where you'll find a dog in the summertime. If you have carpet or hardwood floors and it's summertime, you'll find a dog spending a lot of time in the bathroom, the human bathroom. Why? The floor is probably tile or stone, and they lie there to cool off. The tile or stone helps them cool off. It helps them feel less hot in the summer weather. The other way to use cool off is with the weather. And when we talk about the weather in English, we use the word it. It's raining. It's snowing. It's hot out. It's cold out. Same with cool off. It's starting to cool off. That means the temperature in the atmosphere is starting to fall after being hot for a while. That's the key. It has to start hot and then get cooler. You never say this in the winter. You never say this if the temperature goes from cool to cold or from cold to colder. No, you only say this when it goes from hot to less hot. It's starting to cool off. I can't wait for it to cool off. You would say that if it's been really hot for a couple of weeks and you're just ready for lower temperatures. The weatherman says it's going to cool off by Thursday, whatever. And this is how I used it in today's lesson about the heat domes that the world is experiencing this year. In a normal weather pattern, a high pressure system comes in, it's clear and warm for a while, but then the jet stream brings a lower pressure system to your area. When there's lower pressure, clouds come in and it rains and it cools off. It cools off. The temperature goes from high to less high. Well, that's all for today's Plain English. This was lesson number 596. So you can find the full lesson transcript and all the resources at plainenglish.com/596. We'll be back on Thursday with a new lesson. Now, if you enjoy listening to Plain English on a podcast app like Spotify maybe, you'll love what we have to offer in our Plain English Plus membership. This is our way to help you make faster progress toward your goals in English, whether that's listening, vocabulary, speaking, or writing. The tools are designed to help you build all your skills so you can be an active learner and make faster progress. You can learn more and join us at plainenglish.com/plus, PLUS.